Hey guys, let's talk Montblanc 4810 chronographs collection. Are they worth your time? Are they worth your money? Let's do it. While I'm taking off the watch from my wrist, if you like what you see in here, feel free to like this video and subscribe to my channel. It'll really help out the channel. And of course, it'll allow me to continue doing these unfiltered, honest reviews of mechanical watches and their brands. We're going to hit the good, the bad, and the ugly, and ultimately determine whether or not this Montblanc 4810 collection is worth your time. So let's start off with Montblanc. Who are they and what are their claim to fame? Are they worth your time? And of course, are they worth your money? Montblanc's claim to fame is really their fountain pens. You're going to find their fountain pens wielded by the likes of Barack Obama, Vladimir Putin. So we're talking the level of these pens are at where you're going to be signing major international treaties, declarations, and etc. So they certainly do have that luxury history associated with the brand. Most notably, back in 2016, Montblanc has really made major strides in terms of upping their horological significance, and they're even gaining the respect of many watch enthusiasts. Currently, Montblanc is part of the Richemont Group, owning the likes of Cartier, Vacheron Constantin, and Baume & Mercier, and so you certainly do have a very experienced company backing this brand. I'm going to hit the goods first. This is a $4,100 retail watch. Gray market, you can probably have this guy for $2,800, and so I'm going to slap a price tag of about $3,500 for him, and we're going to evaluate it based off of that. What are the goods? Well, first off, this looks and feels like a luxury watch. What do I mean by that? You have your sapphire glass. You have a very nice guilloche dial, more on that later. You have, of course, the chronograph functionality, which I have already triggered and engaged. So you can stop it, reset it, and of course, re-engage it again. You have applied gold-plated indices in Roman numerals. You have a lume functionality on its hours, minutes, date, and throughout the outboard of the dial, you'll see some lume dots. And you have some pretty interesting execution of colors here. You have some red fonts printed. You have chemically, not thermally, blued seconds and sub-dial hands. And one of the quirkier functions, they have a date that has been integrated in with the 12-hour sub-dial here below, the 9. So a bit of a quirky execution, and I actually really like it. It may not be for everyone, but it definitely does add character to the watch, and it gives it a little unique taste and feel. Now I must say, my favorite part of this watch is going to be the dial. You can see that nice execution of the guilloche. Unlikely that it's hand done, but still very nice execution. And what's very cool about it, and if you look closely at the 12-hour sub-dial, it's actually a reiteration of Montblanc's point-starred logo here on the signed crown. And so this is showing to me that this watch, they put some thought into design, and they had to do some custom executions to make sure that they were able to make this dial gorgeous. And it is gorgeous, and it is nicely silvered. It comes on a black leather band, minimally bolstered, but the deployment clasp itself, which is a butterfly deployment clasp, is quite nice. It's not as substantive as an Omega, but it does have an active twin trigger release system, which means that you don't have to worry about the watch falling off anytime soon, and it's well oiled. You can't hear any squeaking as you move around. So those are the goods. Luxury watch, clear distinction, and it looks the part. What don't I like about the watch? Well, of course, we're going to have to flip behind here and expose to you the movement. Let me see if I can zoom in and get a better shot of the movement itself. So you're going to see here what Montblanc calls the MB 25.07 caliber. I have a little bit of a complaint here because Montblanc's naming of this movement makes it seem like it's some sort of in-house movement engineered and designed by Montblanc, but that is far from the case. It's actually based on the Sellita SW500, a movement that's actually based on the Valjoux 7750, a rather famous or infamous movement that many luxury brands use in order to implement and execute a chronograph function on their watches at a rather low price. Now, I must say this is a workhorse movement, 25 joules, approximately 46 hours power reserve according to the Montblanc website. I think I've experienced more so on the 42 hours end. And so it's a time-tested movement. Here's where I have an issue with it. Well, Montblanc, and we're putting a $3,500 price tag on this watch, has done minimally next to nothing to change the movement itself. You're not going to find any different finishings. They do have a nice gold embossed Montblanc printing on the rotor, so a little bit of a custom rotor there, and there's some striping. But other than that, not a perlage base plate, no additional stripings on any of the portions of the movement, and no additional complication modules. And so, again, you're getting a watch that's bordering on the line of fashion and less on the line of horological hot horology. Trying to get this back into focus here. So, my thoughts on the watch. Is it worth your time? It's difficult to say because this watch is one that kind of runs on the border of an overpriced generic movement watch and a watch that's actually decently well off in terms of pricing because of its complicated executions in terms of design. And in fact, you know, this same exact movement's used by the IWC Portugueser, a $7,000 watch. And so when you're talking about relativeness, you may not find a watch of this caliber and with this heritage at the same price. So final say, is it worth your time? I think this is a tough one. It's going to be an emotional call. It's going to be a call where you determine whether or not this unique guilloche execution is worth the time, and of course, whether or not these special designs, such as the date aperture being integrated with the 12 hours, is ultimately worth the premium that you're going to pay for this watch.